What is going on, people of the internet? It's your boy Killswitch back in the zone with another video, and today is a memorable day in the communities of both Dead by Daylight and Five Nights at Freddy's. And we're gonna get straight into it. You guys have already seen the title. Go into Killer here. Springtrap himself has entered the roster of killers that are available for you to play as in Dead by Daylight. Look at him just sneaking into the screen like that. Dang, that's really reminiscent of Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Now... Oh wow, look at him. Look at him just standing there looking at us, dude. Look at that stare, that cold-hearted stare. Now, what is it that makes him weak, you're wondering? Let's get into the store here, and I want you guys to pay very close attention to this, okay? He has a 24-meter base tear radius, which is less than usual. The usual base tear radius is 32 meters, okay? And the max, I believe, is 40 meters, which is for Wesker. He has the biggest tear radius in the game, Wesker, okay? So this is considered a smaller than usual, usually given to you stealth killers and whatnot. And his max base speed is 4.4 meters per second, which is 110% speed. Now, if you didn't know this, all survivors move at 100% speed. And the killers, most killers, move at 115% speed. Springtrap over here is a slower than usual killer. He's basically 110% speed. It's the same speed that's given to, you know, Spirit, Nurse, well, not Nurse, actually Nurse too in that case. Spirit, Nurse, Huntress, Chucky, and Hag. You know, that's a good example too. Now, usually when a killer is slower than usual, slower below the normal threshold, it's because they have a crazy power. So let's look at his power, right? Like, does his power kind of compensate for that speed? Fazbear's Fright, special ability Fire Axe. The animatronic is armed with a fire axe that he can throw at survivors. If the axe hits the survivor, the weapon becomes embedded in them, leaving the survivor vulnerable. Survivors must remove the axe before they can be healed. Basically, it's like Huntress's axe, except I've been playing a couple of matches with him, honestly, and his axe, you might think, oh, it's probably like Huntress's axe, right? It's like a mix between, you know, Huntress and maybe Xenomorph. It's not. It's basically, you might think that when the Huntress throws her hatchets, okay, they go in a straight line, and they start to curve towards the ground at what you would expect to be a normal pace, right? So she throws hatchets, they go oop, and then they start going down. Springtrap's fire axe isn't the same as throwing a hatchet. It's more like throwing a very heavy rock or a bowling ball. You basically throw it and it goes whoop, just immediately hits the ground. It curves down instantly, like it takes a nosedive. So you really can't shoot far with it. You're definitely not going to be sniping anyone with it. It's something that you need to aim kind of higher than usual than what you would be comfortable with if you have some practice with the Huntress. So I feel like that, combined with the fact that if you continue to read his power, so let's continue reading. At the start of the trial, 7 security doors are spawned randomly throughout the map. These doors can be accessed by both survivors and the animatronic. That's the key word right there, that's the key sentence. These doors can be accessed by both survivors and the animatronic. So basically they're like Xenomorph's little crawling tunnels, except instead of tunnels, they're gates. And the gates can be used by both Springtrap and the survivors. You've probably already seen that, and you may have also seen the animation where if, you know, the Springtrap is also in the office and then a survivor comes in, he grabs them. And I think that his power description talks about that too. So essentially what that power is, first part of his power is the fire axe, the second part is his security doors. The security doors are something that he can use and the survivors can also use to expose him. So let's continue reading. Each security door has a camera attached to it. Interacting with the door gives the survivor access to the camera view, allowing the survivor to cycle through every camera in the map, travel to the door they are currently looking through, and potentially reveal the animatronic's aura to the team. So it's kind of like you can use it, but then the survivors can also use it against you, if that makes sense. Using the cameras and doors too often will deplete the limited battery power available, forcing survivors to wait until the system reboots. The animatronic may travel between security doors with or without battery power. If the animatronic enters a security door, they may choose to exit from any other door on the map. Moving to a door already in use by a survivor will cause the animatronic to grab that survivor. And that's basically the end of his power description. But what we have here essentially is a killer that has a small tear radius, which is good, but that's about the only good thing about him. His speed is slower. His fire axe is not as good as Huntress's, and the 7 security doors that he has is a form of utility that he can use, but the survivors can also use. And not only that, they can't just use it to get around. They can use it to expose him, like they can expose his aura to everyone on the map. And I think that's almost a little, I mean, I don't know, I feel like if I was to put this on a rank, I would put him at B tier at best, if you actually manage to get really good with him. And we're gonna get into a custom map here real quick so I can show you guys what I mean about a fire axe. Just to save time, we're gonna go into custom because I don't feel like waiting for an actual match. Let's just add some bots here. Ready to aim. Okay, there we go. We have a survivor. So we're gonna chase this guy down. Try to. Oh wait. Hello, Heidi. What are you doing here? Heidi, what are you doing? Oh, she's zigzagging. She knows how to. So yeah, you throw the axe down, and if it leaves a little blast area, it doesn't do any damage to the survivors, but if the survivors walk through it, you get a form of killer instinct. Now watch when I try to hit Heidi here. It hits this wall when it really looked like it was gonna go over the rail. And let's try throwing it from a distance. Here. It doesn't go as far as it seemed like it would go. It looked like the axe landed here. It looked like it was gonna land like around here. So it's a heavier axe. It's not like a hatchet like the Huntress uses. And I think that is it forces you to aim higher. Now when you're chasing a survivor, let's say there's someone right in front of me, I'm gonna go whoop, try to throw it at him before he drops the pallet. The problem is it's not gonna go that far if I'm standing right here. So I have to aim higher, and that's gonna kind of force me out of my comfort zone into like hitting it. I might even just lose sight of the survivor. I mean, I'm just gonna be aiming this high and going whoop, and it hits that area instead of even going through. Alright, so I switched to a more open map to kind of get a better feel of how his axe works. Now it is worth pointing out that while I'm moving around, I'm moving at 110 speed, the same speed as Hag, as Huntress. But when I throw my axe, I can actually move at 115% speed. So this is how killers are normally supposed to move. This is their normal default speed. And he does feel a little bit faster when he doesn't have his axe with him, but watch if it's noticeable here. Let's see, so I'm walking out here in the open. As I'm walking, when I get the axe back, I get slower. And all of a sudden, it's a little bit slower. It's very, very minuscule. It's not very super noticeable if you're maybe looking at it through a screen, but when you are playing as him, I promise you're gonna feel it. So let's try to actually get one of these survivors with the axe. I just missed him. You're trying to hide. Okay, I actually got him. So like I said, like you need to aim a little bit higher when you're shooting from a distance. That was pretty close, so that's easy. His axe is basically designed for closer shots. You're not going to be sniping anyone with that anytime soon. So let's see if we can at least get our hands on him. Come on. There we go.
Exquisite.
Whoa, what was that? He just kind of picks them up with one arm the same way Alien picks them up, the Xenomorph. And he just picks him up and throws him on that hook. Okay, so we can see Michaela over there. She's really far. And immediately you can see, like, no matter how I aimed so high, and it still didn't go as far as you thought it was going to go. So his axe's arc really isn't that long. And it's not designed for sniping or long shots. It's really something that you can only use while you're chasing a survivor. Alright, we got this. Okay. Super close range. Oh, so there's a grab animation. So if you have your axe embedded into the survivor and you go up to them and you press the attack button, Springtrap will actually grab them. That's interesting. So we have a really open area here. Let's try to see how far the axe can possibly go. So we have it here. Let's just aim it super high. Again, aimed it super high, didn't go that far. It only got up to here, which is how much? Like, just honestly, again, in range of when you're chasing a survivor, yeah, that's totally, like, normal, like, doable, I guess. Is it gonna go all the way over to Shaq over there? Absolutely not. But, on the other hand, if you were playing Huntress, would her hatchet make it that far? Probably. I mean, we can see one of the survivors trying to get close, and it's basically impossible to get her from here. It's just not something that we can do. It's not doable with his axe. Now, the fact that he moves at 115% speed without his axe is a decent compensation for his, you know, speed reduction, but at this point, if you're not going to reclaim your axe and you're just running around, you're basically a basic M1 attack killer. You're basically like Trapper. Even worse than Trapper, maybe even, because at least Trapper can put his traps down. You're just kind of walking around with your knife, trying to zoom in for at least one basic attack. So if survivors are healing a lot, you're gonna have a really difficult time getting them on hooks. I can't believe I missed that. Okay, so we're lagging. Okay, gotcha. Again, one last time. Let's see how far this goes. Just aiming it at the sky. Comes back down. Aiming it super high. And that is the furthest that it can go. It does not go any further than that. So if we were to look at that, it's about 1, 2, 3 seconds of distance when Springtrap is running at his full speed, 115% speed. So yeah, I would say that's just about it, honestly. So if you're going against survivors that are healing a lot, or if they have syringes, or maybe even passive healing perks like, you know, Moment of Glory or Clean Break, I feel like you're gonna struggle a lot with Springtrap. So in all honesty, these are the two things that make Springtrap kind of weak in my opinion. Number one is obviously his max base speed, and number two would be the fact that his axe doesn't have a lot of range. And in my opinion, it's these two things that come together to make him weak. Very easy solution in my opinion. Like, what's the solution now, right? Like, okay, these are the problems. What do we propose to fix that? It's very simple. Just honestly give him the normal default movement speed that every killer has, which is 115% speed at all times. Whether he has his axe or not, it's fine. I mean, his axe isn't going to be going super far either, so I don't see how that's going to be a huge problem. However, an interesting thing that we could also do to fix it is like leave his speed the way it is and take his axe and make it arc a little bit further so we can go for longer shots and maybe possibly even some interesting snipes. I feel like that would be some good additions to his skill ceiling, because the way he is right now, honestly, it's like it's 1 foot here, 1 foot there, and he kind of ends up taking the not the very best of both worlds, honestly. Like, he's kind of like a half xenomorph, half huntress. He's like a half huntress, half xenomorph kind of thing going on. And I guess it's fine, but again, it's only a power that you can use in chase. Other than that, he doesn't have any crazy chase power. Like, he's definitely not like Kaneki or Dracula, in my opinion. So again, you could ask the question, why is it important for Springtrap to be a decent killer in terms of strength? Which is why I'm saying, like, it's important for him to have a good speed, good power. It's because perk variability and perk sets, perk builds, they are dependent on the killer's strength. If a killer is strong, like, you know, we had Kaneki and Dracula in the past year or so, super powerful killers that could make use out of multiple builds. You know, they could go for strong chase builds, strong stealth builds, strong gen regression builds, you know, even good endgame builds. They could make use of out of all four of these because they were strong and they didn't need a lot of compensation in their natural power. But if you have a weaker killer like Trapper, for example, you're not going to be making use out of all four of these perk type builds. You're basically just going to need like strong chase builds, I guess. Endgame builds work very well on Trapper, but honestly, Stealth Trapper is not really a thing. Like, what even is Stealth Trapper, right? So your killer needs to be strong in order for you to be able to, you know, match him with a bunch of other perk sets and perk builds that are necessary for a killer to be fun. I'm pretty sure everyone wants Springtrap to be a fun killer. I mean, obviously Behavior wants people to come from the Five Nights at Freddy's community to Dead by Daylight to kind of experience it. I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, Dead by Daylight's player count doubled because of Springtrap over here, so it's important for him to be a strong, playable, and fun killer. And honestly, in his current state, he's a little slow and janky and clunky. And I know it's just the PTB, it's only really been like 3 days since the PTB came out, but these are issues that I've noticed with him. Just problems that I noticed naturally. You know, these aren't gonna go away unless Behavior fixes them. So let me know what your opinions are in the comments down below. Do you think his speed needs to be changed? Do you think his arc needs to be increased? Or do you think he's fine just the way he is? You know, he does have a smaller terror radius. Maybe Behavior wants us to lean more into his stealth mechanic and kind of make use of his natural stealth and maybe put more stealth perks on to increase his natural stealth. But that's just about it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. Kill Switch out.